So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And Andrew Huberman. He says that the woe is me hour is between 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning. So, I'll get into that in a moment. Of course, as normal, I am Earthling yada yada yada. I have a couple of degrees. I got a scholarship a long time ago, full tuition. I'm an ex-army reservist. I've lost a bunch of weight. I have quit smoking. And yeah, that's it for me. So, Andrew Huberman and the Woe Is Me Hour. So, Lex Fridman has a podcast, of course. And as it turns out, I have seen Andrew Huberman on, I believe it's Joe Rogan. I wasn't too excited by, his appearance on that particular forum. I was expecting to hear as much as I'd heard about sleep from the other. There was another person with expertise in that area. I think he maybe was undercutting the other guy a little bit. I'm not sure. Can't remember the other guy's name. Sorry. I also saw him on, what's this lady's name? Cummings. Whitney Cummings podcast, because I thought, okay, maybe I might get something useful to my life from this one that he didn't see on the other one, because Whitney believes that she asks people questions that they wouldn't get asked on other forums. That's her angle. I don't know that she actually executes it, but yeah. I don't know that I got very much from that one, but he was on Lex Fridman. Friedman. Remember, it's Friedman. Yeah, he was on Lex Fridman. And finally, I got something that maybe it's not useful, but at least it helps me to understand myself and other people a little bit better. And of course, Andrew Huberman has a great backstory, and maybe that is what I got from Whitney Cummings' podcast, that he was on a totally different trajectory. He was a skateboarder, and then, I can't remember the details of how he got into science, but it was completely different from a kid who knows they want to get into science their whole life and has been involved in that sort of thing. Anyway, back to what he was talking about. So on Lex Friedman, I think Jay-Z says if you repeat something 17 times, you'll remember it. So I think off of air, I will try to do that and see if I can remember Friedman. But I don't know, I see his name in my head and I think Friedman. But then I remember he said it's Friedman without an E. So anyway, he was talking with Lex, and one of the things that they got into when they started discussing sleep, because Lex believes that, it's like, get it whenever you can, and it's all good. Whereas other people who have been on Joe Rogan, the same sleep specialist, believe that you should have a regular habit of sleep cycle. And I guess they agreed with each other, Lex and Andrew. And one of the things that they came up with, they discussed, or Huberman introduced, was that between 1 and 2 o'clock a.m. is the lowest part, or the least active part of a human's cycle, daily cycle. And that, he said, as far as I remember, as close as I can remember, you shouldn't make any major decisions at that time. And I thought, wow, that's interesting, because I personally have discovered on my own from staying up late that was exactly the time of night when I would start thinking to myself, oh my life is so different from the scripts that I have seen in movies and on TV, and what everybody expects for someone's life to go. And, maybe that's a bad thing. And aside from the script, just my day to day life is not, even if you say, okay, well, somebody's supposed to be married with 2 kids and maybe divorced at this time, maybe they're a manager for some reason, like, I don't know, they have all of these managerial positions are going to be opening up and being paid this amount of money and driving this kind of car and all of this other stuff. Yeah, so at that time, it wasn't at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it wasn't at 10 o'clock at night, it wasn't, the first thing that happened in the morning. It was around a little bit after midnight, a couple hours after midnight, that I would start examining my life. And I thought, wow, okay. So, of course it probably happened a lot when I was a lot younger. But I guess I have enough time to examine some facets of my life. I feel like I do. And I feel like I have enough time to examine a lot of different things that maybe other people they're going through the motions, and they don't have time to look at it. And I was like, hey, I should know that this is the time. And I would look at my watch and be like, yep, you see, I was feeling bad, I was feeling depressed, that's the time. And it got to the point where I might be on the phone with my sister, and she might start to, say certain things, compare her life to other friends or people that she knows. And I would be like, listen, look at the time. This time is the woe is me hour. Okay? We have like a different term for it where I'm from, but for woe is me. But that's essentially what you're getting. You're not going to think these thoughts most of the day, and if you're asleep, you're probably never going to reach to that point anyway, because unless you actually happen to be up at 1 or 2 a.m., and it happened once, twice, 3 times, and it's like, listen, sis, listen, these thoughts are only crowding into your head because of this particular time. So when I heard Andrew talking about this, unfortunately, I'm really surprised that Lex did not dig deeper into this particular topic, because I know he's a life is suffering kind of guy. Maybe it is that he is not up at that hour, so, or I don't know, or maybe just some of the angle was more exciting at the time, but it really struck me. And part of the reason why it struck me, beyond just my personal experience, is because, of course, women will divulge when they actually cried or cried themselves to sleep or whatever the case is. And that is a thing. It's a thing where women would say, I literally cried myself to sleep every night for this particular time, or whatever the case might be, this particular period of life, because things were so bad. And I am wondering if this is a case where these women find themselves up at this particular time of night. And I don't know if it's just the body's clock, internal clock, or if it's maybe the fact that at 1 or 2 a.m. in the night, these are infomercials that are coming on TV. There's not a lot of noise. There's just mainly you in your head, and there are not a lot of other people who might be up at that time. So you can start to look inward. Yeah, there's not a lot of external stimulus. So your internal stimulus, your internal ecosystem, it comes more to light. You're able to see and hear the voices in your head that you can easily get distracted from during the daytime. And across the board, we are not really well taught in terms of what to expect from life. I was listening to a divorce lawyer talking, and that's one of the things that he was saying. People are not taught how much, on how many different levels marriage affects you financially in terms of your debts and so on. So, yeah, but it's an interesting thought. If anybody ever has bouts of depression at that time of night, you should know and maybe do some more research than I have provided here. And just know that that time of night is when these thoughts can come up in your head. So feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, dislike, any of the above, the same way you would like if someone would provide you feedback if this were your content. Have a good one. Peace.